the very thing that the Muslims work to destroy. He said that when the Prophet ﷺ made it to Medina, the very first thing that he did is build his masjid. And coupled that with the brotherhood that he created between the Muhajirin and the Ansar. He said that that brotherhood, although when it comes to the masjid, it does have the function of serving as a place of worship, as a place of prayer. It is also, it works as a place, it functions rather as a place where the Muslims get together. This is where they solve their problems. This is where they try to figure out their own shortcomings, their strength. It is literally the place where they come to solve all of their affairs. The masjid also, the Prophet ﷺ rather worked on the brotherhood, and that's the thing.
So it's comprehensible. He started by building the masjid.
It only makes sense that he started.
But why, after that, beginning by brotherhood? Building the masjid, we understand why. The brotherhood, why?
And then the Prophet, the Sheikh went on to ask the rhetorical question about the brotherhood as well. And he, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, started off with creating the brotherhood amongst the Muhajirin and the Ansar. And the question is, why did the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam started off with creating that brotherhood amongst the lines of the Muhajirin and the Ansar, when it is something that the Arabs did not recognize? It's not something that they're familiar with. The brotherhood that the Prophet ﷺ started off with, created amongst the Muhajirin and the Ansar, he went to the extent of inheriting one another. Originally, the Muslims used to inherit one another. That's how far it went. Now, of course, that ruling was abrogated later to where it was limited only to the lineage of family. But this brotherhood is not something that the Arabs are familiar with. The only thing that the Arabs are familiar with is the lineage ties. Anything that has to do with lineage is family ties, in other words, blood. But if it goes outside that blood lineage, then it is not recognized. This is something that the Prophet ﷺ is introducing into this society when the Arabs had fanatically, they would stick to only to their lineage, in other words. And it is based on the lineage that they would fight for it. They would build allies for it. They would even defend their own families, even if they are wrong, for as long as they are family, as long as they are blood. So the Prophet ﷺ is literally is departing from something that the Arabs are, they founded their whole culture around. And this is a concept that they're not familiar with. And then the Sheikh went on to explain, rather, the reason why is because the ties that the Prophet ﷺ is introducing now to an Arab society, it is a tie of the deen. That brotherhood that falls under the category of the belief in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and that it is under that love for one another for the sake of Allah. It is something that they're not familiar with. The Sheikh went on to touch upon the psyche. You can imagine how psychologically the Arabs, and he mentioned a poet that he would go off praising his tribe, not about the qualities of doing what is right, but rather praising them for defending their lineage, even if they are wrong, and even if they have blood on their hand, yet they will be defended. And if someone who commit, let's say, a crime, and it is a family, that person is to be defended, even if it's going to take the task of going into war to defend that person, not because he did, rather serving the justice of handing the person who did wrong to justice. This is not something that they're familiar with. They would go to the extent of even breaking wars for the sake of defending family and blood. And the concept of brotherhood for Allah's sake, this is not something that they are familiar with.
فتفهمون لهذه العلة فيما أحسب والله أعلم كان ابتداء النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم بإنشاء هذا الرباط. ثم هذا الرباط هو أقوى من ذلك الرباط الذي كانوا يدينون به ويؤمنون به، لأن رباط النسب هذا ينقطع في الآخرة. قال ربنا سبحانه: فإذا نفخ في الصور فلا أنساب بينهم يومئذ ولا يتساءلون. قال ربنا سبحانه: يوم يفر المرء من أخيه وأمه وأبيه وصاحبته وبنيه لكل امرئ منهم يومئذ شأن يغنيه. انقطعت الأواصر، بل ربما تنقطع في الدنيا، وهذا مشهود معروف عند كثير من الناس، تنقطع أواصرهم مع قربائهم في الدنيا قبل الآخرة. لكن بين لهم رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم بسنته والقرآن العظيم أن رباط الدين لا ينقطع، لا يقطعه شيء، لا في الدنيا ولا في الآخرة. أكثر وأقصى أعلى ما يمكن أن يقع بين اثنين في الدنيا من التناكر والتهاجر، أقصى ما يمكن أن يصل بينهما أن يصل إلى الاقتتال، ولا لا؟ يتشاتمان يتشاجران، يعني أعلى ما يمكن أن يتصور أنه يصل بينهما أن يقتتلا. قال ربنا سبحانه: وإن طائفتان من المؤمنين اقتتلوا، فوصفهم بالإيمان مع حصول الاقتتال منهم. وإن طائفتان من المؤمنين اقتتلوا، اقتتالهم لم يخرجهم عن كونهم مؤمنين، فأصلحوا بينهما، فإن بغت إحداهما على الأخرى فقاتلوا التي تبغي حتى تفيء إلى أمر الله، فإن فاءت فأصلحوا بينهما بالعدل وأقسطوا إن الله يحب المقسطين، إنما المؤمنون إخوة فأصلحوا بين أخويكم. فسماهم ربنا أخوين مع حصول هذا الاقتتال بينهم، يعني أعلى ما يمكن أن يصل، لا يقطع الرباط. وفي الآخرة يقول ربنا سبحانه: إن المتقين في جنات وعيون ودخلوها بسلام آمنين ونزعنا ما في صدورهم من غل إخوانا على سرر متقابلين. لم تنقطع، لا يقطعها شيء في الدنيا ولا في الآخرة، لا يقطعها إلا شيء واحد.
Based on that tie of the deen, the Prophet ﷺ built the relationship between the believers. And then he showed not only those who are immediately following the Prophet ﷺ, but also this society that he now invited people to al-Islam into. This tie is stronger by example. It is shown by example that it is far stronger than the ties of, or rather family ties, blood ties. And the Prophet ﷺ taught the Sahaba, and by extension all of us, that the tie of the deen will never break. It will never break, not in this life, not in the next. However, the ties of the blood, it may very well, it will happen should those who allied others, even if on the wrong side of the fence, when the day of judgment comes, they will deny one another that family tie. As Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, when the blowing the horn goes out and everybody rises and people face their records of deeds and they're now facing accountability and they're face to face with the reality of the day of judgment. Now the family ties are not going to come through for them. فَلَا أَنْسَابَ بَيْنَهُمْ. That at that time the family ties are off. And the Prophet, and also Sheikh said that when it comes to the ties that are based on blood lineage, they can also come to an end in this life. They can also come to an end in this life. However, when it comes to the ties of the deen, it's quite the opposite. They're neither breaking in this life nor in the next. In this life, the worst that could happen between two people who love one another for Allah's sake, they have that ties that are bringing them together, and they're the belief in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The worst that could happen between the two of them is a feud that will go as far as fighting one another, to the extent of wanting to kill one another. Even in that case, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did not deny them the tie that brings them together, and that is the tie of Iman. Even if they would go to the extent of feuding, of hating one another, of literally picking arms and going to war against one another, that will not take away the tie of Iman that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala described him in it, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in Surah Al-Hujurat that if two parties still believe